Hello and welcome to how I play my level 125 Beastlord. So we're going to jump right into this today. We're going to talk about spells, talk about the hotbar, and mention gear and anything else that comes up. And the AAs too, I guess. If you watch the previous, 115, 120 videos, you'll notice that this is pretty much the evolution to the next stage of those videos. For the way I play, this is not the best way to play a Beastlord. If you're playing Beastlord solo, you're going to be doing some things a lot different. If you're playing it at a peak raid tier level, you're going to be doing it different also. This works for me using the way I use ISBoxer to multi-bind all the keys so that I only have to push one button to play the character. So it is a very specific to how I play, but the gist of it is about the same for all of the different ways you can do it. Now, the first three spells I have on my bar are frozen nukes. Getting damage out via spell damage, direct damage, is the way I get the most of the damage out of this character. If you've watched any of the videos, you'll notice I don't get into melee range a lot unless like the character is on auto follow. It's a lot of extra work to do that, and in some cases it's not worth getting in the range, but it's as we get into these higher level mobs, they are living longer, so getting into melee range is definitely something you need to be doing to maximize your DPS. If you watch, let me see if I can still have the parses. Here we go. Yeah, we do. See if I can bring them up. So if you watch the first video in this little mini series here, you'll notice that I did all the parsing first. And if we bring in the parse, you can see Stasi, my Beastlord, on all the trash mobs we killed, without excluding the two names we killed in that video. She's about 435,000 DPS. We'll kind of go to this a little bit more. I'm kind of jumping around, and I apologize for that, but I wanted to kind of show this before we go any further. Where is it? I think it's a DPS breakdown. Is that what I clicked on? Yeah, there we go. So the majority of her damage is coming from the direct damage, as you can see here. And then there's some crush, but the majority of this damage is, in fact, direct damage. Even though it says crushes are a little higher, it's solely based on this, because she's not in melee range most of the time. Now the pet, on the other hand, is another 25% of her data, so that is definitely something you want there. So as we talk about this, this is kind of my reason my focus is on the nukes specifically. So the first one, Offense Lance, 21k, cold damage. Of course, it closes the wrong one. What the heck? All right, we'll just click them off. Then we have Frozen Creep, which is it is a interesting spell because it does two damages. It does 14,000 poison, 12,000 cold, for about a total of what is that? 26,000. And I guess it increases hatred by 704, but with a Shadow Knight, you don't even notice it. So another nice one there. And then we got Rime Claws Maelstrom. So surrounds your target in a wild. Maelstrom causing poison for 15,000, disease for 16,000, and ice for 15,000. And then a chance one of those will be repeated. So that one's a little confusing if I click it here and go to spell damage. Really? Really? Did nothing? Alright, let's try that again. This is, oh, I clicked, that's my warder. I clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. I'm dumb. Let's go there. So you can see ice, poison, disease, and then ice got repeated. So with all my modifiers and all my gear, this 13, 15, 16, 15 becomes 46,000, 49,000. And then the lucky critical becomes 151,000, and that free one was also a lucky critical, and that's 138,000. So definitely nice extra damage there. And then we have Mortimer's Bite, which is a poison direct damage. Does 26,000. So I'm focusing on all of the direct damage because it requires me to move less, and it requires me, you know, it's built on when I first made this character and the mobs were dying almost instantly. So there's some evolution I can do when we get to like a higher end gear tier, but right now this is working for me right now. And I don't want to change it. Next up, we have Single Multifuralgia, which is a combination spell. It does the growl plus the call, which summons our swarm pets, right? So this the growl increases the hit points of everything by 12,000, heals for 2072 every 6 seconds, and increases the melee damage by 20%. So all the pets get a little buffy buff. And then it's just like the Shaman Spirited Leopard line of spells, right? And then we have a chance to summon two. We get one most of the time, but we have a chance to get two on a 9%. The extra swarm pet there. If we cast that, you see there we got one, right? And he gets the growl like built into him automatically. And if we look here, he's hitting for 12, 50,000, 8,000, 3,000, 24,000. Just depends on if he crits or not. But as you can see, he's doing 65,000, 68,000 DPS just on that one little spell alone. So you want to do that on cooldown. Now this is where you probably wouldn't want to do this spell if you were, you know, not playing. I have the target heal on, so this will heal the enemy's target, right? And I swap it in and out onto my multi-bind with Forgebound Blood, depending on the situation. But I leave it memorized at all times just because I had a lot of spell slots and I just don't know what to put in all of them. But this will heal the target. Now, if I'm fighting something extremely difficult, like say tier 2 Outer Brood, and that's pushing my tank to his hits his limits, with 2 or 3 mobs on him, I'm definitely going to pick up the mending spell in my multi-bind so that I will heal him and give him that extra healing. It's only 17,000, but it works, and I have all my pets taunting, so it'll also heal the pets that are taunting too. Then we have Vitalizing Water. This is just a buff for the pet. It allows it to do the target heals and stuff like that. And I leave this up at all times because it only lasts for 16 heals, and I'm too lazy to change spells. So these are very specific to how I play and stuff like that. Then we have Reciprocal Fury. This is our current level progressive ability that you get in the Outer Brood, and broods your group with the highest rank of Fury. So that adds, and does it say the numbers? There we go. 15,000 hit points, 4,800 mana, 1,200 endurance. Also lowers the increases the pet's chance to flurry by 92%. Damage you take by damage shields by 409. And increases the chance for you to flurry by 38%, and adds a chance for your pet to rampage, and she speeds up all melee attacks for 12 seconds. It doesn't give the number there, but it's just a nice little buff. It seems to land on everybody and the pets, so really beneficial there. Then we have Forgebound Blood, which is the only dot I believe I have memorized. Well, no, I have another one. It's one of the 2 dots I have memorized right now, and this one fills the target with venom. Let's see here, 27,000 damage initially and 23,000 damage over time. Now, the initial part is kind of where I like this. It's equivalent to any of the other nukes we cast, right? So Mortimer's Bite is 26,000. This one's 27,000. Now, if you look at the mana, right, this is an 18,000 mana cost, right? It is going to drain your mana, and depending on how you play, you might not want to be draining, 15,000 mana. So swapping those out for something else, like say the mending here, is going to save you a lot of mana. And I swap those in just depending on what I'm doing. I like to just run raw and go as hard as I can, and if I need to med, I'll med at the end of it. But I like to just never stop. So the more mana that I use to do more damage speeds things up, and it's just, you know, it's just how it is. That's how I play. But these two spells, Forge Bound Blood and Lizim's Call are very expensive, and spamming them in the multi-bind, you are going to be out of mana. You'll notice in the videos, my Beastlord is like pretty much perma out of mana. Now with that, I do like almost permanently focus Paragon her to keep her mana up. It just depends on that, but I think once I get her in, you know, full, gear for, you know, where she needs to be gear-wise in Outer Brood Tier 3, right? She would be able to sustain just about anything. But in the current mix of, you know, gear she's in, it's not that easy. But the other spell here, allows him to chill, is the same kind of concept as this one, but it's 23,000 initial, 19,000 over time. Depends on what you want. One's resist cold, one's resist poison. So your choice on what kind of dot you want. The next up, we have Shared Merciless Ferocity. Now this is our group attack buff, right? This will give everybody in the group a good chunk of attack, increase their chance to triple attack, and other stuff there too. And also, I guess it gets stamina too. This spell line has not been updated since level 100. The highest ability of this you can get is rank 3, but you have to do raids in, I think, Call of the Forsaken or Reign of Fear to be able to do that, and I just haven't done those yet. So that would be the only upgrade. You could get the group tier version, which would probably be significantly easier to get. You just got to do group content in those things. It might be a drop, it might be a vendor buy, I don't know. Can't remember what expansion it's from, but that would be the, you know, upgrade you would get for that. And it's going to add a nice chunk of attack. It only lasts for 27 minutes, so I keep it memorized at all times just because I'm lazy. And then we have Magna's Aggression. This is another pet buff. Let's see, it lowers the amount of hatred your order generates by 25%, increases the accuracy by 37%, and the minimum damage it does with melee attacks by 28%, at the cost of losing 17.51% of its maximum health and 76 armor class. Now, why would I want to do that? I'm not soloing. I have a tank. So he is solely for doing damage. And you can see here in the in the parsing across those combined 18, mobs, right? The pet is doing 25% of my damage. So him doing more damage is beneficial to me because I don't have to do that damage. And most of the time I send him in and this character just sits there. I've started putting her on a mount because she's has such bad mana issues, and that takes out her ability to kick. And sometimes I don't even do it. So, it just depends. And then in the last slot here, I have the current level pet, which I just leave the pet up at all times because I've had pets die. Like, I don't know why, but sometimes they pull aggro and I can't get aggro back off with my Shadow Knight and they die. So I just click this button and pet's back, and I just throw some buffs on it over time and we're good to go. We don't have to even think about it. Summoning a new pet is almost free, like 1,000 mana, and I currently have 325,000 mana, so it's practically free. So that is the spells I keep memorized at all times. Now the only thing I switch out is the Unity spell here, Wild Fang's Unity, which is our current level combination regen plus the health buff that the Beastlords get, and then Pet Unity, which I believe is Cohorts Unity. I believe that's it. Let's see here. Book 76. Nope. 62. There we go. I think it's Cohorts Unity. There's a bunch of spells. But yeah, here it is. It combines Insatiable Veracity and Spirit of Shrew, which are the proc buff plus the pet haste, into a single buff. So it's kind of nice. Well, it's not a single buff. It's a combination buff that puts them both on there. So that's that's something you'd want to do there. And I keep that on at all times just to make sure he's buffed. But let's get into the meat of this. So my burn buttons, Savage Spirit of the Savage Lord, which just increases damage, right? I've seen this every single video. If you're burning, you're gonna do Spire of the Savage Lord. I mean, it's a 7-minute reuse. You could probably just do it on cooldown, and you would be benefited from that. Then Bestial Alignment. This is a 12-minute cooldown. Increases my base melee damage by 300% and grants me a 45% chance to resist spells, and it turns me into a tree. I block that, so if in my videos you'll never see me turn into a tree, but you will turn into a tree if you don't block the spell. I do Forceful Rejuvenation to reset any cooldowns that are up, and then I use the Breastplate. I currently have a Gallant, so this is a Lorien Song Tier 1 Breastplate. The best you could use at 120, but it is woefully outdated now at 125. But at the same time, I've canceled this character. It's not going to be able to wear prestige gear. Anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's see here. Fury of the Beast. So this one allows yourself next 8 Warder bashes to trigger Unleashed Fury, which does 126,000 damage. So it's like almost 1,000,000 damage from your pet there. Pretty nice. Then we have Savage Rancor, which I don't think was updated ever. Let me see here. So yeah, Savage Rancor never gets updated from 104. And it just gives us Savage Raid, increases our melee damage for 36 seconds. So it's pretty nice. And then we have Bloodlust, which increases 100% chance to your weapon will proc. So it's definitely useful to have nice fast casting proc weapons. I believe the 18 delay weapons, this is not one of those. Yeah, the 18 delay weapons with some kind of proc are the best weapons you can get. I believe on my Discord, in one of the chat rooms, Blarp, a high level Beastlord, has talked a lot about how he plays his character. So you can get some insight there on my Discord, and then on the official Beastlord Discord, which should be linked in the description of every single one of these videos. You can get more information about how to do a lot of stuff at high end that I don't cover, because that's not what I do. And then let's see here, Shabi's Fury. This is another one. I don't think it got updated. Yeah, this last update on this one is level 98. Imbues your group with Nature's Fury, increasing the damage mitigation, weapon speed, while increasing your chance for you and your pets to perform flurries. And then this one, yeah, Xanathan's Vindication. There we go. This discipline will trigger each time you cast a damage over time spell. Now, since I don't really cast damage over time spells except for Forgebound Blood, this doesn't really do much for me, but I do have it in my burn, right? So it's on the second burn here. Well, I don't even have the right one on there. I have the old version. See, Xana Fans. There we go. That's how much it doesn't matter to me. And then we have Blood Drinker's Coating, which is a little leech effect that we can put on our weapons for a few minutes. And then I do have my earring here, so I can shrink my pet on clicky there. All right, so that's my burns. Let's talk about the multi-bind. So I do a very specific order based on the timers and their cooldown, right? So I can get the maximum out of this. So it might not make sense the first time I'm running through it, but it's the best I can figure out. So I got Fury, so I do that first, make sure everything's buffed, and then I go Lance, Creep, Bite, Phyralgia, Maelstrom, and Forgebound Blood. Now, there could be a case where I would say that putting Phyralgia before is probably better, but it just depends on how you want to do it. But to me, it didn't seem to matter, because by the time it's flowing, right? Once it's flowing, the Fury is going to hit the next order, right? 1 minute after that, there's going to be and it's just going to change. So it doesn't really matter. Maybe the first one you want a little extra all up in there, but it doesn't really matter. So the next step, we have the Discipline Wallop, which is our synergy line, right? So right here, this is the Haro line, just the 3 savage attacks. Give everybody in the group member bonus damage to 20 melee attacks for 14,000 each. If you have a very melee specific group, Beastlord works really well with that, because everybody's going to get a little extra damage out of that. Then we have Attack of the Warder, which has another Swarm Pet buff there. And then we have Barrage of Claws, which strikes, see, 3 targets in front of me. So this one can't get you ganked. If you're not paying attention and you Barrage of Claws, you might pull aggro that your tank might not have yet. So I had that early on in the series, where the Beastlord was just get dropping dead because I was using the AoE nuke plus that, and I do mostly passive AoE to do all the aggro with my tank. I don't really hard tab to anything, so it was funny until I figured it out. But next up, we have Bestial Fierceness here. It doesn't look like this got updated since 1.16 either. Increase your minimum melee damage by 174. Increase your chance to hit harder by 142. Increase your accuracy by 75%, and your warder's minimum damage by 174, and its chance to hit by 47, and its accuracy by 75. So there's just a nice little warder buff there. Frenzy of Spirit increases our melee speed by 100%, attack power by 650, and reduces your weapon delay by 60% for 1 minute. It's a 12-minute reuse, so arguably I should put it in my burn, but I didn't, so just how it is. Roar of Thunder, 4 minute and 30-second reuse, deals 40,000 damage and reduces hatred. Now you'll notice that these are not updated. I'm not max AA on this character, so there's a lot of room for improvement from the numbers you see and everything like that, so keep that in mind. Warder's Gift, so this takes 15% of the warder's health to give me health, so I just do it on cooldown. Why not? 2 minute and 30-second reuse. Enduring Frenzy, 5-minute reuse. This one gives a chance to trigger Enduring Frenzy Restoration, which will give us stamina back. I do this on cooldown. It's a 5-minute reuse. Hopefully it works, because I need all the stamina I can get on my guys. And then Frenzied Swipes lowers the reuse time on the round kick by 4 seconds for 1 minute. So that's a 20-minute reuse. Theoretically, you'd probably want that in the burn too, but I started running out of slots, right? I got like 1 slot there. I could probably delete that and get 2 slots. So it was just, I didn't want to have, I have 9 as a very specific button on other characters, so I didn't want to fill that slot here. Reflexive Slashing, just another attack which can restore some endurance. Chameleon Strike, another attack, just a free attack, right? Does 200 base damage with hatred reduction. You can see the next one's 230, so it's a nice little, it's almost like an evade attack, if you will. Then we have Consume Spirit, which consumes 50,000 of my health for 29,000 mana, and it's kind of like Cannibalize every 3 minutes, so it works. Gives me back my stats. And then we have Aureate Bane, which is the Outer Brood Bane thing that removes the curse that you get. So now if you want to see how this is actually done in practice, you watch the video, but I can kind of show here. I'm just going to hit 5. That's all I'm pushing. So you can see here, she starts casting spells. Every single AA gets activated because they have no cooldown on activation. So we're into like the 4th spell, 5th spell. Phoralgia gets kicked off. Rhyme Claws. Spam is annoying. Oh, I don't have a mod rod on me either. So pretty much goes through the entirety of the multi-bind, right? But all these AAs, the order of those does not matter because they get activated pretty much at the exact same time. Just the way the server works with those for some reason. And so I'm only pushing one button. As long as I'm in melee range, right, you'll see that I can kind of do it like this. And it's just spamming telling me I can't use the ability because it's not ready yet. But there we go. It works out pretty well. Let's see here, spell damage. And you can kind of see like the damage that we're doing. It's quite a bit. Now I do have some synergy between my other characters, right? Like the I think the wizard has a nuke synergy, so I can trigger that with a ice nuke from her. The mage has a fire synergy, so I can't trigger that one. The bard one, I believe, is a melee strike, so I can trigger that one. And the shaman is a heal, so that one doesn't really affect me at all. But you can kind of see here that it's decent damage, right? Like Beastlord's probably one of the top DPS classes in the game. I just can't play it to the 100% perfection that you would need to do it, because you have to rely on doing dots on cooldown to be able to do that. But there we go. I think that works out for a little demonstration. I literally only hit 5. Like this is a one button rotation. If you set it all up like this, it's a one button rotation, and it's all built into the game client too, right? Like you can see here, all my hotbars are bound to 4 and 5. So I don't have to do anything except go into the settings and set this, right? So it's pretty easy there. All right, so that's how I play all that. Now, AA wise, where do you start? You know, I think at 115 auto grant stops. I think that's where we're at right now. So you like, what do you do? What do you spend your points on? What do I spend my points on is 100% on anything that gives me damage. Anything that increases my damage is where I put the points. I don't care about defense on this character right now. I only care about increasing my damage. So anything that's in the multi-bind gets +1, right? Any of the focuses in the multi-bind get a +1. So they're all, I would say, weighted about the same to me personally. Like this one here, this would, in my group, increasing the melee damage would really only affect the pets and the Shadow Knight, because I'm not 100% at getting everybody into melee range. But that would probably be the most important one right there. Now, previously I said it was the most important because you couldn't upgrade your ability because it was tied to the AA, giving you the bonus. But they changed it recently where this AA just affects the whole line, and you don't have to upgrade it to affect the line, right? So to me, that lowers the desire to, you know, go and get these, you know, 400 AAs to max that out immediately, right? You can now go with whatever you want. But it's still worth getting because it's going to increase your pet's damage, right? Because your pet's going to get those, you know, 14,000 hits, right? Your swarm pets might get them depending on timing and stuff like that, and then the rest of your group will get it. So it's definitely worth, you know, going towards. But any of the other focuses would also be very good for you also. And then anything else in here, I've been personally focusing on Paragon of Spirit, wherever that is. Yeah, right here. I've been putting my points into that because that helps my group out the most. More mana and stuff like that. So it just depends on how you want to do that. I'm going to switch this because I need that switched for something else later. And, you know, getting these like little increases here, like increase your spell damage. Like I just nuke mostly, so increasing this maxed out from 28 to 33 would definitely increase my damage significantly. So that's how I do that. Gear wise, you're going to want the best gear you can get. I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point. I'm wearing Lorien Song Tier 1 gear mostly. Because, you know, this character is going to be free to play here in, I think, 2 months. And so she can't wear anything with prestige on it. So I gotta start, you know, changing all that around. And that's, you know, one of the first steps there is finding stuff without prestige on it. Like these tier 1 weapons and stuff like that. You're going to want the 18 delay weapons. Those are going to be the ones you want. There's a one-handed blunt plus this Qatar or whatever, the monk weapon, right? You're going to want those. You're going to put the Qatar in the offhand and then the one-hand blunt in the front hand. I don't have the one-handed blunt. At least I couldn't find it. I might have one somewhere, but this one's just the 24 delay one I got off one of the missions, and I threw it on her. But that's what you're going to want weapon-wise. And then gear, like stat-wise, right? You're going to want these right here. This is the Lorien Song version of it, but you're going to want the heroic dexterity in every single slot as much as you possibly can. You want to get that heroic dexterity up as high as you can. I only have like 2700 dexterity right now, but you want to get that up as high as you can. I don't even have type 5s in most of my slots. Now, the downside is these are all prestige, so I can't even use them. So that is one of the downsides of the free-to-play characters, is they can't use augs for the most part. There are some augs you can use. Now, these are the type 3 augs you can buy from the vendors. This is the Lorien Song version. They add damage to spells. For some odd reason, these are not prestige, so you can use these on a free-to-play character and whatnot. But you're going to want to get as many of these as you can for all the spells you cast, right? You can buy these in the Lorien Inn vendor area, and they will help you out there with some extra damage. And they, like, I mean, it's 1600 damage to a spell. Like, if we look at this, right? This spell does 21,000, so another 16, that's 22,600. I mean, that it's kind of nice, right? It's a nice little bonus for 31,000 platinum, a nice little bonus to your spell, right? And they're good for 2 expansions, right? There's no Outer Brood gems that I saw. Like, there might be some, but for the most part, they're good for 2 expansions, so you buy them every other expansion. So, you know, 31,000 is a nice investment on these. Previously, you had to have the perfected aug to remove these, but now you only need the whatever this one is, the XXI, I believe, to remove them. Yeah, XXI. So it's actually cost efficient to remove them. Now, I play on FV where everything's tradable, so I can, you know, when 130 comes out, I upgrade her to 130. I can take this out and I could give it to another Beastlord. I could put it on the bazaar and resell it for, you know, a fraction of the cost, but, you know, get some of that money back. So you might be able to tribute it on normal servers and get some tribute out of it, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But that's gear, that's spells, that's my hotbar. That's about it. I can't really think of anything else that we would need to talk about for the Beastlord. That's how I play it. It's a very specific use case, but like I think some of the spells are about the same. I think if you look at the Beastlord guys on the Beastlord Discord and stuff like that, it's about the same. I think they just focus more on dots and stuff like that. Maybe some other things. With that, I try to keep my stuff, you know, separate as I can for most things to try to figure it out on my own and you know, see what works for me, because, you know, at least for me, like when I find something and I read it and it doesn't work the way I would want it to, I'm just wasting my time, right? So I'm very cautious at taking things wholesale from sources. I like to try and figure it out on my own. But that's it. That's how I play my Beastlord at 125. Thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.